A teenage driver could face a long list of charges after police say he drove into a group of people on a sidewalk in Oakland and took 3 lives. Thank you for joining us. I'm Cameron Bopp. 3 people died and at least 3 others were injured when that car plowed through people standing on a sidewalk in East Oakland last night. Police did arrest the driver. They say they don't yet know if he intentionally drove onto the sidewalk or whether alcohol or drugs were a factor. Now, at the time of the crash, several people were talking outside a liquor store on 85th Avenue and International Boulevard. ABC 7 Eyewitness News reporter Suzanne Fawn has a look at what happened moments before those people were hit.
So we're praying for him. He's going through surgery.
Shedrick Henry is badly shaken up by the news that his childhood friend is in the hospital after a horrific crash Saturday night in East Oakland. Police say a driver plowed into a crowd of people standing outside East Bay Market and Liquor Store on International Boulevard and 85th Avenue.
It's a nightmare for the community. Like, these are people, loved ones.
Right now, we're going to have 4 DOAs, 2 criticals, waiting on 26 is getting on scene.
This is surveillance video of the crash. Police say a driver was speeding on 85th Avenue and turned onto International, slammed into a parked car, and then hit several people on the sidewalk. After early indications that 4 people died, officials confirmed that 3 were killed. Paramedics took 3 others to the hospital.
All you heard was tires screeching. Then all of a sudden you heard a loud bang.
Michael Turner was hanging out with friends across the street from where the crash happened. His nephew and friends were struck after the driver hit a parked car.
When he hit the first car, it sounded like he stepped on the gas even harder. He hit the first car, stepped on the gas, you heard the engine roar, and he just took off straight down the sidewalk.
Late Saturday night, we heard from another witness. Cornelius Reed was there and saw it happen.
That was an ugly scene. And I know all those people, man, we grew up together.
The driver leaving the scene after the crash.
Well, he was going fast. But once he hit that car, he went even faster.
Reed says people nearby stopped and detained him. Police say the driver was also taken to the hospital to be treated for minor injuries. The driver, who's under the age of 18, has been arrested. On this Sunday, Councilman Noel Gallo says Oakland needs more police officers on the streets.
It's very clear what we need to do to strengthen Oakland when it comes to public safety. We need more officers Monday through Sunday.
It's almost loaded. Let's finish it and we'll talk about it.
Daytime and nighttime, especially at nighttime.
Mayor Barbara Lee releasing this statement Sunday saying, quote, Oakland is mourning the lives lost in last night's tragic crash. Our hearts are with the victims, their families, loved ones, and all of those impacted. In Oakland, Suzanne Fawn, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Yeah. That's truly a tragic situation. Of course, just, not a lot of information to go off on when it comes to the reasons why this teenager, as it was, because he was under 18, was driving at night, speeding, obviously. It's what we're talking about really is, who should be able to be behind the wheel at certain times. And first thing I would say is that, it's nothing good out there at night. I mean, all of the stuff that we've seen lately is just putting a bad taste in a person's mouth when it comes to going out at night, to hanging out, on corners or just chilling in certain places, because you just don't know what's going to happen. It's that old adage that, nothing good happens after 10 o'clock. It's that old adage. Of course, these are gentlemen not doing anything, hanging out at the local bodega, whatever the case may be, chilling. And, they don't expect that somebody's, some teenager's going to be, driving excessively fast and recklessly to the point where he takes the lives of a couple of their friends and sends the rest of their friends to the hospital. They have no idea that that's going to happen. And there's no true way to prevent that in these kind of situations. There's no way for more police forces on the streets to prevent this. This is not something that could be prevented, through having more police officers, unless we're talking about them being out there to the point where they can pull somebody who's driving recklessly over and stop them in that way. But truthfully, if it wasn't an act from the driver prior that would have, put him in the eyes of the police, and to the point where they would pull him over, arrest him, or whatever the case may be. This is not something that can be prevented. I always talk about, who should be able to drive. And in most cases, I'm talking about it in a situation whereas, I deal with a lot of people who are at an advanced age, in their 80s or 90s, and they're still driving. And the fact of the matter is that I know of them, and I know about them because they get into a lot of accidents in their cars. Because I run a collision center, or work at a collision center, and it's they are frequent flyers to the point where they brought their cars in more than 3-4 times, and I've seen them several times. And I talk about how, after you get a certain age, then, it might be a situation where you might want to take these people's driver's license away. But I truly don't advocate for that. I don't, I understand a person's desire to have the free will to move around. And as long as that, they have the true faculties to do it and not, hurt anybody else, then I have no problem with that. But it is the cases where, you reach a certain age and your driving is causing a negative effect on other people. You're hitting other people's cars, so they got to get their cars fixed. Or, even worse still, you get to the point where you get into an accident where somebody's hurt or, dare I say, killed. So, it's hard to put an understanding on who really should be able to drive cars in in certain situations. And right now we're talking about a teenager, a 17-year-old. And, we don't have enough information to know if he has a valid driver's license. We don't have enough information to know if he was, impaired, drunk, or under the influence of drugs or anything like that. We just know that he did a horrific event, and the horrific event was done with the car, and it killed several people and it injured several other people. And even with the witness testimony, they're telling us that not only did he hit these people, run these people down, but even after that, he started speeding up the car even more, probably trying to escape or get away, to the point where some people who were just standing around out there had to detain him. So obviously, it's going to be definitely a criminal matter. He's already been arrested, and simple fact that he was trying to get away tells us that he was doing something wrong. Okay? And it's just sad. It's just sad that no matter what was in his mind, or what he was thinking, or what drugs he was on, or what alcohol he consumed, it's too late, because lives have already been lost. And none of that can be taken back. So, truly a sad event over in Oakland. Prayers out to all those families that got hurt or were affected by this incident. And we'll definitely follow up on this story, find out if we can get more information on the teenager who was driving the car, figure out what was in his mind and what caused him to do this, because it's just truly sad. And Oakland is not a place that needs this type of publicity. All right, guys, I'm gonna let y'all go and get up out of here. I am Chris Surratt. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Car Concierge Show. Please hit the like, share, subscribe button. Hit me in the DMs if you have any questions, and I'm out. Peace.